Hi flops, happy ookie pookie kooky spooky season. For today I'm going to give you a bit of something different from my last video, and we are going to do a Halloween makeup look. I think the kind of vibe I want to go for is like 1920s flapper, Showgirl, bit of Pat McGrath, bit of Erte, very kind of Violet Chachki vibes. This is my mood board. And I hope you enjoy. So I'm first going to go off camera. I'm gonna glue down my eyebrows. If you don't know how to glue down your eyebrows, grow up. And then I'm going to put on some foundation, and then I will be back bald, eyebrowless, and beautiful.
That's what you said. And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.
So now that I look like a bald ass egg, we can actually do some makeup. So I'm going to start off with my base for this because we're going to have quite a lot of like base work going on, and our eyes are going to be quite big and heavy, so I want to have the base so that I can really like diffuse everything through. So I'm going to do my creams so that we can have everything kind of blend through and be very, very diffused. So I'm first going to do some contouring, and because we're going for this kind of flapper shape, I want everything to be a bit more heart-shaped. So I'm going to be using, we are also not going to be bronzing very much, so I'm going to be using a really cool toned contour. This is the Fenty Matchsticks in Amber, and I'm just going to draw these shapes on. And as you can see, we've gone for that really kind of 3 shape to create this like much smaller, more kind of concentrated shape. I want the apples of my cheeks to really, really pop, so I'm just gonna blend that out, and I will be using slightly different brushes today because I don't want my usually super warm base makeup shades to like muddy this up. So I'm using this, which is just like a face painting brush. And then, just because this is quite light, I'm going to go in with a slightly darker contour shade and deepen some of this up. And then I'm going to take a highlight shade. I'm going to use the Super Pale Concealer that we used last time, and I'm just going to start contouring or doing my highlights. And as you can see, we're keeping this really close to the centre of our face so that it just creates that really kind of like, I want it to feel like there's always a bit of a spotlight on my face. And then we're going to take the same brush as we used last time and we're going to blend this out. And now that we look absolutely insane, I'm going to put on some cream blush. I'm going to use this kind of raspberry pink colour. This is, surprise surprise, from Aldi, but any kind of pinkish reddish cream blush will work. I'm going to put this quite high up. I'm going to really blend this into our eye makeup, so I'm also going to take it quite close to my eyes. And as you can see, whereas usually my blush kind of comes out this way, this time I'm going to do it kind of up and down to kind of keep that kind of rounder face shape. And then I'm going to take this on a stippling brush and just blend it out. And as you can potentially see, this didn't really do much. However, if I find that working with kind of the cream layer and then layering on top then makes the powders look a lot more intentional. And the main focus of this look is going to be our eyes, so it doesn't really matter massively about the base because the eyes are going to be such a big kind of focus point. And I think I'm going to contour in like a really cool toned, almost purpley browny colour, just to kind of really keep that kind of berry tone which we're going to use in the eye makeup running throughout the entire face. I want it to feel almost like this being one of those kind of very 2012's Instagram Nashville filters put on my face. So to powder, we're going to be using Ben Nye Super White. This is just in an old Aspen container, and this is a like white powder. We are going for super pale because the look at this time was to kind of almost look like your skin was porcelain. So I'm going to put this is literally very white, so I'm just going to put this on our highlight areas. And then for everywhere else, I'm going to take my highlighting powder, which is the Makeup Revolution Lace Powder, and I'm just going to brush this on with a brush. And from here, you could turn this base into like one of many things. You could go for like haunted doll kind of vibe. You could turn it into clown. You could turn it into lots of different things. We're just going to go super kind of art deco-y showgirl. So next up we're going to go on the eyes, so I'm going to zoom you in. So for this look, whereas with my usual drag makeup everything kind of goes up and out, I want everything to come kind of down. So I'm going to start off by dusting off my powders, and then I'm going to go in with my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Rust to start mapping out the shape. This is slightly shimmery, but once it's blended out you can't really tell. And I'm going to have, because we're putting this over a powdered base, I'm going to have a brush ready to blend it out pretty quickly. So for the shape, I'm going to go kind of up and follow where my nose goes, and then down and into my eye, so that it kind of creates this triangle that points towards the middle of my forehead. And then we're going to bring it into the outer corner of our eye, and then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to blend this very quickly. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. And if that is a little bit uneven, then we're just going to go back and forth and kind of play with the shape. If you look like your cat has just died, you're doing things right. You should kind of look a little bit terrifying, but also like really, really sad. And then on our outer corner, we're going to bring this quite low, just to create a really kind of downturned look to our eye. And you can see here where we're going to blend our blush into our eye shape, just to create a really kind of like sad look. And this is obviously just kind of the initial mapping out, so if things aren't massively even as I'm looking in the mirror and mine very much are not, don't worry about it. We can go in and fix it. This is just kind of our rough guide. So for our eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using the Modern Renaissance palette. I don't know what it is, but something about these kind of vampy cranberry tones is just very kind of like showgirly to me. I either think like, when I think showgirl, I either think Modern Renaissance kind of berry colours or blue eyeshadow and no in between. And I think that says a lot about my showgirl references, either 1920s floppers or Liza Minnelli. I'm first going to take from the Modern Renaissance palette the shade Love Letter, and once again we're going in with our mid-tone to kind of map everything out, and I'm just going to start going over this cream work that we've already done. And just where your kind of brow cover is, you want to be a little bit more careful with your blending there, just so that you're not disrupting anything. And even though we're doing this kind of downturn shape, I still like this kind of outside line here to be quite like rounded, so that it still stays quite soft. In clown makeup, generally you keep all your lines super rounded because it is kind of like that softer kind of look, and I want to look kind of sad but nice. I don't want to look mean this time. And we can start using the shade to bring into our nose contour. So then I'm going to take a small blending brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Red Ochre, which is a little bit warmer, but I think this is going to make it blend into our skin tone more, and I'm just going to start blending the edges. And that Red Ochre shade is just a little bit too kind of warm for me, so I'm now going to take a slightly denser fluffy brush and the Trixie Cosmetics Summer of Love palette, and I'm going to dip into the shade Side Chick, which is just like a really hot pink. And because this is a blush, once again we get that same kind of translucency, and I'm just going to blend around all of the edges. And then I'm going to take my trusty black pencil brush, and I'm going to dip into a black eyeshadow, and I'm going to start really deepening up this kind of upper and this outer out here, where we want things to be kind of the darkest and the moodiest. So now I'm going to cut my crease. I think for showgirl makeup, a like super white cut crease is very like showgirly. So I'm gonna use actual literal clown white. This is like a really thick. Mine's looking a bit blue because from when I did Juno Birch last year, but this is just like a really thick white face paint. It's kind of a nightmare to work with, and it doesn't set on its own. So I'm going to take my Peaches pigment in Mermaids, which is like it's like a clear base with a blue iridescent shift, and I'm going to set that down immediately with that. And clown white is like super thick, so sometimes what works best is to scoop it out of the pot with like the wrong side of your brush, and you can put it on the back of your hand where it'll be able to like warm up a bit, because as it warms up it gets creamier. And then make sure you wipe off this side of your brush so you don't end up with white everywhere. And I've just worked that into my brush, and I'm going to start cutting my crease. And on this outer corner, don't worry about that, because we are going to blend everything in on the outer. And as we should now be learning, symmetry isn't exactly my strong point, so we're going to ignore that. We're literally just going to ignore that. There is nothing I'm going to do to fix it. You get what you get, okay? And then I'm going to take quite a fluffy brush, and I'm going to press this Mermaid's pigment all over where the white was. And now that that's all really set down, if your eyes are feeling like really heavy because you've got so much product on them, that is fine. It is quite an uncomfortable look, so don't you worry. And now that that white is all set down, we're going to go back in with the colours that we used and blend in our outer corner. And I'm going to bring this quite high around my actual eye because I want my lash line to be super, super dark because we're going to be putting on some humongous lashes. Now, mama, this is drag. And then I'm going to take my eyeliner and I'm going to draw like a huge eyeliner, but I'm not going to wing it out because I don't want my eyes to come out like this. I want it to look super like downwards. So I'm going to, and I find that this super thick like black eyeliner, I say super thick, it's not that thick, but this quite thick black eyeliner can really like round out your eyes. So I'm then going to take my pencil brush again and the black that we were using earlier, and I'm just going to blend that black liner into the rest of the eye. And we're not going to do our kind of extended inner corner because we want our eyes to look kind of downturned. Doing this inner corner creates our eyes look more upturned, and theoretically we could do like an upturned inner corner, but that would look a bit weird, as if this doesn't. So we're not going to do that. I'm now just going to go back in, neaten everything up, darken it all up a bit. It's kind of not really the kind of look where I can show you how to do things. It's much more kind of like, the like instructions on this video might not be great, but it's mainly because I just kind of like feel my way around this and do what I think kind of works best. So now I'm going to move on to my lower lash line. As you can see, where we've kind of joined the upper into the lower, it kind of joins, it kind of like has run into it. But I'm just going to take the shade Love Letter and I'm just going to kind of bring this quite kind of tight into my inner corner. But I'm not taking it all the way in because I find that it can create a kind of like really closed off look. So then I'm going to take my fluffy brush again and the Trixie blush, and I'm just going to kind of blend everything into the same shape, like so. It's super basic. And then last but not least, I'm going to take my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, and I'm just going to line my lower lash line. I don't know why, but I feel like this is kind of giving like Betty Boop meets Mickey the Mouse. It does feel kind of very cartoony, but that is the look that we're going for, so. Next up, we're going to move back into the face. I'm actually going to keep you zoomed in. I don't know why I zoom you out, but we're learning here. So we're going to take the Be Perfect and Vivian Sculpt shade, and I'm just going to hollow out the pockets of these cheeks even more. And as you can see, I'm using a much more pointed brush to get a bit more of a precise application here, because we're not going to be going in with bronzer, so I want my contour to feel a little bit more intentional. And then I'm also just going to take this along my forehead. I'm kind of bringing this quite far in, a little bit lower down, because I want to create this like really circular forehead highlight, because I feel like it creates that kind of spotlight effect. And then I'm going to go in with blush, and I'm going to be using the Trixie Summer of Love palette. I'm going to be using the shade Girl on Girl to begin with. I'm going to take this on quite a kind of small angled brush. I want quite a lot of blush on because it's going to almost work as our bronzer. So I'm taking quite a lot of Side Chick, and I'm just going to blend this kind of into both the contour and the eye. And I am going to kind of wrap this around the eye a little bit too. And then I'm going to take another blush brush, and I'm going to take the shade Girl on Girl, and I'm going to blend this into the skin a little bit. Like so. So next up, I'm going to take quite a pale contour shade, and I'm just going to contour my nose. I want my nose to look absolutely tiny, but kind of quite long and pointed, so I'm just going to contour that with this kind of very fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm actually going to go in with an even smaller blending brush, and that darker sculpting shade, because this isn't really giving me life. And I'm just going to really, really like tailor this nose into a tiny little like boop nose. And then I'm going to take some of the Trixie Summer of Love palette, and I'm just going to blend the nose into the eyes a little bit more using the same brush. This is a Raffin number 13. And then I'm going to take because we're going super precise, I'm going to use a pressed powder rather than a loose powder. But I'm going to take my e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation in 120N, which is just like quite a pale shade, and my Lux Brow Light brush from Zoeva, and I'm just going to carve out this nose contour. Well, I'm going to start carving it out. We're going to go back in and carve it out with the white as well. I'm absolutely broken. I'm heartbroken because I cannot find my nose contour brush, like my nose baking brush. So instead I'm just going to use this, which is just another of these kind of flat fluffy brushes. I'm going to take some Ben Nye Super White and I'm just going to bake around my nose. And then I'm going to take another almost clean pencil brush and dip into that white powder and do just the tip of my nose. And then I'm going to take my powder puff and I'm just going to bake around the centre of my face one more time. So while that's all baking and you can literally feel the moisture being sucked out of your skin, I'm going to take a really pale brow pencil and I'm going to start mapping out my brows. I want my brows to be quite rounded and downturned, and I find that going in with a really kind of light coloured brow pencil works really well because you can kind of map it out. So I'm actually going to make my eyebrows kind of turn downwards, but they're also going to flick up in the beginning. So I'm just going to put some dots in place so that I've got some guides, so that they will hopefully be even. And then I'm going to sketch these on very loosely with this light coloured brow pencil. And I'm basically just going to like keep going darker and darker with these brows until I get to black. I know I said black, but I'm actually going to leave them at that kind of pale brown colour. I'm going to carve them out and then I'm going to go in with the black. So I'm just going to take the same brush as we used to cut our crease and the clown white that is still on the back of our hand. Now that it's been on here for so long, it will actually be quite nice and liquidy. So I'm just going to work that into the brush and I'm going to start carving. And I want this to be really white, so I'm going to set it down with some more Ben Nye Clown White. Then I'm going to take my blush brush and I'm going to go back in with the side cheek shade and I'm just going to blend over this bit where the brow highlight is meeting the blush. And then I'm going to take it on quite a fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend the white into the eyeshadow. I'm going to go in with a really fine black liner and I'm going to darken my eyebrows even further. So next up I'm going to take some setting spray and I'm just going to spray my face because we have a lot of powders here and we need a little bit more moisture. And then I'm going to go in with a kind of iridescent pinky highlighter. I'm going to use the one from the Summer of Love palette first. And then I'm going to go in with a really kind of small tapered, this is actually like a blending brush, and I'm going to take the Peaches and Cream Fantasy pigment and I'm just going to work that onto the highest points of my cheek. I am going to give myself another spritz of setting spray so that this really sticks. I'm also just going to take some of this under my eyebrow. And finally I'm going to take it on a kind of thicker pencil brush. I'm going to blend this onto the tip of my nose. I'm now going to whack on some mascara. I've got some really big lashes to put on, and then I'm going to put my hair and then an outfit, and I will be back to do my lips. So I've got my hair on. This is hair by Tiana Trinket, icon, legend and star, amazing hairstylist. And I've also put some lashes on. These are like a 25mm lash, and I've committed cardinal sin and not trimmed them, but because I want my eyes to, if your lashes are too long it like drags your eyes down, and that's kind of what I want here. I think I want to do something kind of in the same kind of pinky reddy colour scheme as this. Oh, I also put some rhinestones on my eyes because my mum called and I had some time while she was chatting. So I'm going to take my Night Moth lip liner and I'm going to kind of like do a bit of a diffused lip. I'm going to use this with a like small kind of fluffy brush. This is actually the same one as I used for my highlighter on my nose, and I'm just going to like blend, like keep this quite concentrated in the middle. I kind of don't want to have my lips be too big because my eyes are quite big, but I think this darkness is going to help make sure that they don't get lost. So So I've just blended the purple, gone in with a slightly lighter lip liner. I used Colourpop Lumiere, and then I've gone over everything with my foundation brush to kind of grey it out, and now I'm going to go back in with the Colourpop lip liner in Plotted, and I'm going to basically do the same again, but blend it a little bit nicer. And then I'm going to put on some purple gloss. I'm first off going to try House Labs. It's an old one, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to put this like right in the middle. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of my contour stick, and I'm just going to take this on a small fluffy brush and contour in here. And this is the finished look. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I feel like a showgirl. I feel sad. I feel demure. I feel soft and pretty. But also, like, this is like drag. This is draggy drag, and I love it. As always, thank you so much for watching today. If you try this out, then please send me a photo of it. I would love to see this on anyone else. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. My name is Mattress, and it's been so nice to be here today. Follow me on Instagram at mattressmua, and I don't have a TikTok because I cannot handle the video editing. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.